What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Bianconeri zone for a new daily news video, and we're going to talk about Vlahovic because he is a topic again, a big topic in the media, among the fan base, leading or not leading up, but basically after that Roma disaster game from him, basically. And it's always going to be a topic, you know. It's not going to go away when you score 2 goals against Verona the week before that. It's not going to go away if he scores a goal against Empoli or a goal against PSV. It's always going to be there because he is a player that divides the fan base for many different reasons. So that's what we're going to talk about. Before we do that, as always, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, Vlahovic. You know what it is? We overpaid. That's the main thing. And he is playing, like, looking at how Giuntoli is operating with cutting the cost, looking to generate funds, all those things, like the list goes on and on and on, basically. You can assume that if he doesn't show up this season, and with show up, I mean get plus 20 goals in Serie A and gets at least another, I don't know, close to 10-ish goals in the Champions League, Coppa Italia, Supercoppa, Club World Cup. So at least 30 goals a season in total with a few assists in there. He will be on the market. He was on the market for Lukaku last summer, you know, the previous summer. He was on the market for Romelu Lukaku. I think people forgot about that a little bit, but he was on the market for Romelu Lukaku, and it was close at one point, and everybody was going wild, and so on, you know. So don't think that Giuntoli is not going to do that. If he can find a solution for Vlahovic, and this season, this summer, Giuntoli has proven that he's even willing to take cuts. He's willing to lose some money here and there. And if he doesn't show up, he will be on the market. His contract is insane. You know, I like Vlahovic. His contract is insane. The contract we gave him is criminal, basically. But we did that, and we cannot take that back right now. He's in control in that situation. If he's not going to lower that significantly, which I don't think, like, I wouldn't do personally. I'm not going to go from 11 to 6 just because, you know, it's just not realistic. You know, no matter how bad you play or how good you play, that's just not going to happen. Let's be real with it. I wouldn't do that. You know, I wouldn't do that as well. That being said, Giuntoli will move him on. He will try to push him out of the door if he doesn't show up this season, you know. And with Vlahovic, again, I like him. I don't like him if you ask him build up. Like, he's not that player. I've said it 1,000 times. He can have a very good game. He can have a disaster game in terms of building up play, holding up play, so on, so on. And the biggest issue with Vlahovic for me, what I have with Vlahovic, is not his finishing and so on, because he finishes chances, he misses, but every striker misses chances. Like, that's not really the point. My biggest issue with Vlahovic is if things are not going his way, he drags himself into the mud, literally, at one point. You know, he drags him down so much that it even gets worse and worse and worse. Like that Roma game, I thought the second half was semi-decent, but the moment the first half, the moment the second half started, I think he had one misplaced pass, and then it just piled on and piled on and piled on, you know. Miscontrol when he needed to play a player in, you know. Miscontrol close or in and out the box. Trying to play in Conceição first touch, take a couple of touches basically, and then puts a very weird, awkward shot in. Like, that's his biggest issue. You know, mentally, that's his biggest issue. Where if things are not going his way, they're not going his way, but he makes it worse just by pushing and pushing and pushing, and it gets worse and worse and worse. That is something I'm just hoping Mota can kind of coach out of him, you know. And again, for me, Vlahovic is the type of player, you get in the ball in the box, he will put it away. Most of the times, he will put it away. If you create enough for every single striker, that's the case. Those, like, good strikers will put him away. This season, I think against Como, it was okay, the build-up play. Against Verona, he got the goals. You know, that's what he's for. Against Roma, we didn't create much. I don't think, like, against Roma, I don't think any had a problem with, he missed chances. There were no real chances. It was just decision-making, you know. Playing that ball on Juventus a bit too wide in the first half. Otherwise, Juventus could have run towards a defender, you know, and maybe on goal. a miscontrol in the box, not playing in Conceição first touch, all these things then added up to, okay, that's a disaster game. And he had a disaster game because technically that was a very, very poor game where it's not even about you're under pressure, you're making mistakes. It's just you're pushing yourself way too much for no good reason. Just keep it simple in certain instances, and he's not doing that. That being said, if he scores the goals I've said, which I think he should, I've said it last season when he said he needs to have plus 20 goals, and at the end of the season I said that's not good enough. You know, what did he add? 16, you know, in the league or something? That was not good enough. If he doesn't have that this season, the rumors about him being moved on will be there. 100%, they will be out there. They will be out there, you know. So it's up to him now to show up. Show up, basically a last chance. It is kind of a last chance, you know. Knowing how Giuntoli operates, it is a last chance. There's no favoritism, so if you don't show up, it is what it is, basically. So we need to deal with it. He needs to deal with it, and we need to move on. We need to move on. Empoli next. Yeah, you need to do your job. PSV the following week, or the couple of days after, you need to do your job. Also because Milik is injured. Milik is injured, and to be honest, I don't think he's going to start Milik over Vlahovic anyway, but Milik is injured. So it's you. I thought it interesting that Motta brought in Nico Gonzalez, and after the game he said, no false nine, nothing. I brought him in as a pure number 9. He's good at his head, so on, so on. I thought that was not a little dig towards Vlahovic, but that was like, okay, I have options. I took Vlahovic off, and Milik was, injured, but I still took Vlahovic off because you know what? Nico Gonzalez can play number 9, you know? That can be one off, but if this goes on for a couple of weeks, you know, it's up and down, up and down. At one point, Nico Gonzalez comes in and he does well. Motta can be like, you know what? This is what I need right now, so I'm going to do it more often. A sub at the 60th minute instead of the 85th minute or so. And then it starts. Then the rumor starts. Then the pressure starts building. More mistakes, so on, so on. So it's up to him right now. It really is up to him to actually prove a lot of people wrong. Me, not me, by the way, because I know what type of player he is. You know, in and around the box, brilliant. If you ask him to finish, if you ask him to build up play and so on, I don't like that. You know, then okay, you need to be honest with Giuntoli and say that's not my type of striker. And I'm like, cool. If you want a different striker and you win, I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm perfectly fine with that. If you don't want a real out and out number 9, if you want something like a Zirkzee, basically. I can live with that. If we win, if we end up winning with your idea, saying I want that type of player, fine. But right now, you have Vlahovic. There were no rumors on moving on Vlahovic. Actually, the reports were he actually rates Vlahovic and he can make it work. Not like the reports where with Chiesa, where it's like he doesn't like Chiesa. It's not his profile. He needs to move on. So now you need to make it work, both of you guys. You know. So yeah. Last chance. Let's see if he will show up this year, and especially next week against Empoli at 6 o'clock, I think it is, 6 o'clock. And then PSV the following week, where we start a Champions League campaign at home, and we definitely need a win, so we need a big performance from him as well. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. Could it be his last chance? Could we be moving on from Vlahovic? Do you see it happening in the summer if he has the type of season he had last season, even when there was a period where he was carrying us with late minutes, late winning goals, and so on. At the end of the season, you're like, in bulk, he has a team was not good enough overall, but you still looked at Vlahovic, you're like, I want to see more, you know. So let me know in the comments, like the video, subscribe, and I'll speak to you guys very, very soon. Ciao.